Growing up, my favorite brand was Adidas. To me, it stood for all day I dream about sports, which I did. Do you remember how easy it was to be active as a kid? You could go outside, find pickup games. There's literally endless things to do. We had recess as kids. Life was pretty good. And as innocent kids, we didn't care who we played with, the gender, the ethnicity, the age. As long as we had fun, it was a great time. But then something happens. We get older. Sometimes we move away, friends change. We have busy lives with work and families. And even though we know play is an important part of being alive, it somehow moves down the list of priorities. On top of all that, social media and smartphones have consumed us. We're now more connected than we've ever been, but more socially isolated than ever before. Maybe that's why we're so weird as adults. A couple years ago, I sold my shares of a firm that I owned, and I went to Nepal to visit a friend that had a nonprofit. Now, to put it in context, he was helping villagers make sense of sanitation. So when he asked me to get my hands dirty, literally, that's actually what he meant. I went down there, and these remote villages had no Wi-Fi, no internet connection. I could feel my anxiety building instantly. I had to be present. I had to be in the moment. There was no escape. But what I found was that even though I didn't connect with these people through language, because we didn't speak the same language, we connected through sport. And that was an intense feeling. At the same time, I had just begun journaling, and I started to ask myself what I wanted to be remembered for, what next project I want to work on that actually could have impact on the world. I didn't know it then, but this trip would change the course of my life forever. Coming back to Calgary, I moved back downtown. And with golf out of the budget, I decided to pick up tennis. Now, I have a pretty active network in the city, so I was blown away how hard it was for me to actually find people to play with. Maybe they didn't want to play with me, but most of the time, they were just either super busy or just didn't want to play the game. I started to look on meetups, use Facebook, even try Kijiji, and that was not ideal. Weird, yeah. If and when I'd find someone, the skill level was completely off, the courts weren't my courts, and the time didn't really work. So it kind of felt like a waste of time for all of us. I knew with my background in tech, my love of sports, and this opportunity to build something bigger than myself, there had to be a better way to connect people. Around the same time, dating apps were doing a really good job bringing people together based on preferences and location. This is when I had my aha moment. I knew what I wanted to do next. When you're starting any new project, you want to validate that the problem that you have is actually worth solving. So I started to ask as many people as I could. And what they told me, above having a limited network, was the two main issues that they were having when trying to find people were a lack of people that were in the same skill level and people that actually fit their schedule. This is why we created Play City. Think of Play City as Tinder meets TripAdvisor, but for physical activity buddies. And I know what you're thinking, not that type of physical activity. But I don't judge, just don't be a homewrecker. How it works is quite simple. Log in through Facebook so we know you're a real person, choose your preferences, and start browsing. Simple as that. If someone accepts your invite, go play. As we evolved, we started to learn more about our users and found out that many of them weren't actually from the city or were new to a neighborhood. So they didn't even know where to go play. Think of us now as a localized community marketplace in which we connect stakeholders in a very targeted ecosystem. We'd have the opportunity to not only connect individuals, but to the community at large. Meet Dak. Dak and I met on Play City last summer. Now, I was pumped because I had someone to play with at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Little did I know, to him it meant so much more. As we started chatting when we were playing, he told me about his experience in Calgary and how he had just moved here and how sad he was that he actually couldn't find people to connect with or even play with until he found Play City. Now, he started telling me about his dad encouraging him to keep on swiping. Like he was going to find someone, and he did. He found many people. Now, I couldn't hold it in any longer, so I told him I was the founder, and we made it for people like him. And he looked at me, and I'll never forget the way he said, "Thank you." That testimonial coming from him, right from him, like crystallized what we were doing and made it even more clear the mission that we had. You know what's really cool about meeting people and having fun? Is that it's actually really good for you. We all know the merit of sports for kids, but only 1 in 5 Canadians gets the recommended physical activity amounts. Stress-related issues stemming from social isolation and chronic diseases are skyrocketing. This means in Canada that it's a $6.8 billion cost, much of which could be mitigated through very simple lifestyle changes. What I'm most proud of is the community that we built. Sports brings us together people from all walks of life, and our community is a living testament to that. We've created thousands of connections, and as a social enterprise, our goal is to connect people through a shared interest to create dialogue, which we believe the world needs more of. Our mission is to make the world a better place through play. If we can learn and appreciate each other, and understand that our differences is what makes us unique, we believe the world could be such a better place. In a world that is way too online, not active enough, and constantly being divided through all the noise out there, let's go back to being human beings. I challenge you to meet somebody new. Get out there. Life is short. Go play. Thank you.